Brand new year, the same Who Day. We'll show you what we got. Special guests, past, present players. Tune in, see who we brought. Hear the fun, it never ends. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. Back for more this year again. Never before heard Bengal stories, a weekly Who Day event. Talking football with Bengal Jim and friends.
20 seconds.
All goes back to charity, every single cent. Talking football with Bengal Jim and friends.
3, 2, 1. Hey, Who Day, everybody. Who Day from the Holy Grail. What a crowd. What a crowd. The Bengals haven't been up at Dix right now. There's a bunch of Bengal fans over. We got a packed house here at the Holy Grail here in Cincinnati. The 1-0 undefeated Cincinnati Bengals. Tonight we've got some very special guests. We've got our guy Solomon Wilcots. We've got another legend, another Bengal legend, David Fulcher. He's coming up here. We expect a few other players, Joe Kelly and some other Mama T Higgins' mom's supposed to be here tonight, but let's have a good time tonight, guys. Our first remote of the year, guys.
It is. It's exciting. Again, thanks for everyone that's come out. We got Toronto in the house, Colorado in the house, Bradford Revival, everybody that's made an effort to come on out tonight. We certainly appreciate it, and it's a lot of fun. It certainly feels a lot better being 1-0 going into week 2. Tom?
Well, it's the first place Cincinnati Bengals, and since we're there, we might as well stay there.
The first place.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
But we've got two guys to start us off. Hopefully, a third when Joe Kelly gets here. The goal is to get to and win the Super Bowl. And we got two guys that certainly know how to get to there. Solomon Wilcots and David Fulcher will be joining us in about 35 minutes. But Jimmy, you and James were up there. How was the treatment? How was the mood?
I'll let James start off the Cleveland game here, so then I'll finish off.
It was good. We didn't sit in the dog pound this year, so I got like 0 harassment for a change. But only took 5 trips to finally see a win in Cleveland, and gorgeous weather. I think other times it's rained or whatever, but a lot of fun. Got the much needed week 1 win. If you remember the last time under Zach Taylor's watch, and we went 1-0. We went to the Super Bowl. So hopefully,
my experience in Cleveland, it smells like old baloney when you get about 5 miles out. It's the worst city in the country. The drive home was awesome, by the way. I don't care how we won. It's week 1 opening day in the city up north. That was a fun time up in Cleveland. So, Tom, let's get this started. We were going to Solomon for a short period of time. He's got to get out of here, but we got him for about another half an hour, 35 minutes. But do the introduction for Solomon, if you could.
A member of the SWAT team. He came to the Bengals, courtesy of the University of Colorado. A special player. One of the great Bengal defenses that got us to Super Bowl 23. And since his retirement from the NFL, has taken the media by storm, winning Emmys, taking over TV, and now can be heard every morning on XM Channel 88, NFL Network, The Morning Drive. So we'll get him in and get him out so we can get him home to watch the game and fall asleep because he's got to get up early. But we welcome Solomon Wilcots.
Tom, go ahead and get it started off. We got all kinds of questions. We'll try to do some crowd questions here, but Tom, get it started. We got a lot of stuff to get through with Solomon.
Solomon, not everybody realizes in week 1, Bengals can't be choosers. So the Bengals can win. We'll take it any way we can get it. But still, we got to get better. We got to get better in a hurry. Jacksonville is much improved. And one guy and he was even tougher on himself was Cam Taylor-Britt. He was waiting for Al Golden at the practice facility over at Paycor Monday morning to let him know that wasn't me. You can expect more from me. He had his early season struggles last year. What do you see in him? If you could talk to him, what would you give him as a suggestion to get his confidence back and see all their things?
Well, first I want to say it's great to be here, and I'm so happy for all of you who are Bengals fans because I know you guys put a lot of effort energy and enthusiasm into rooting for the team. And so there's no such thing as an ugly win in the NFL. You know that, right? It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to come home with a W. These are grown men who are getting paid to take care of their families. And that's why you don't see teams typically getting blown out. You can watch a college game on Saturday, and usually you have a lot of guys out there. They're going to be future dentists. They're going to be future lawyers. They're going to be doctors. So they already know by halftime, and hey, this game's over. It's okay. You're playing Alabama. Why am I getting my brains beat out? This is not what I'm doing for the rest of my life. By the time you get here to the NFL, this is what we do. And men have pride in what they do, so they're not giving up. It's going to take all 4 quarters. That's why you saw Joe Burrow flip out of the end zone, because he didn't want to get tackled for a safety, right? So I just want to say, look, I'm proud of the Bengals. I'm happy to have been a Bengals player. I'm rooting for this team every single day. And when I watch them play, on defense, I want to see guys, particularly on the back end, on the defense in the secondary, play together, play like they're enjoying it. Tackling is not something you have to do. It should be something you want to do. When you come to the ballpark, your desire to hit someone, if you play on defense, it ought to be at an all-time level. You should want to hit someone. That guy over there, number 33, he wanted to hit somebody. All the guys in our secondary, man, we couldn't wait. We hit each other trying to hit somebody. And so when I watch these guys, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that kind of enthusiasm. And so when I look at our secondary right now, I think there are a bunch of young players who have a ton of ability. That's why they were drafted very high, right? You have guys who are first, second, third round picks. I think the entire unit. I think the only guy that was drafted late was Geno Stone, but he didn't come to us out of college. He went to Baltimore. But all the rest of them are highly drafted guys. I mean, they know how to play. Their technique needs to be better. The desire to want to win for other people. See, in our league right now, if you play well, you get a new contract, right? We all know that. Who gets paid when you get that new contract? The player. So if you're out playing to get a new contract, I would tell you your priorities are wrong, because you really should be playing to win. Because when you win, everybody gets paid. Did you know that? When you win, listen, I know we didn't pay Jesse Bates, but did Jesse Bates get paid? Of course he did, because he was winning. That's what happens. This league, it takes care of the winners. If you play decently and you lose, good luck getting paid. I can tell you right now. You're going to have to try to search for a team to pay you. But if you win, everybody gets paid. So that's the priority. So I would tell Cam Taylor-Britt, you know this team's counting on you to help win games, right? Because Cam, I'm going to tell you, he's a good player. The guy's got phenomenal ball skills. He's got tremendous instincts. Cam chases the big play. Instead of just doing the basic things, instead of just using his technique to make the simple play, he's chasing the big play. Well, here's what coaches do. When they look at the tape, they say, man, you make a lot of big plays, but you give up a lot of big plays too. So you don't want that on your resume. And I think if he played with more discipline, with better technique, and let the big plays come to him, then what he would find is that he's still going to make the big plays, but he's not going to give up big plays. He's not going to allow guys to beat him for touchdowns. And he's going to be able to make the simple, easy plays, and the big plays will come to him. And what we call that? Consistency. Because that's really what we want from him. He's a really good player. I'm just flat out telling you. I am not down on Cam Taylor-Britt. In fact, when I saw Jordan Battle get the interception, when I saw DJ Turner get his first interception, I said, that's exactly what these guys need. They need success early in the games, because then that's going to breed confidence within the group. There are young players that haven't made a lot of big plays. And as you make big plays, as those plays start to come to you, you find that there's more, and then there's more. So I think they have a really good coach in Al Golden. I think we got off to a really good start. In fact, the defense won the game for us last week. Am I right? Can I give one? we were expecting the offense to win for us, but it was the defense that actually, we didn't play perfect on defense, but it was good enough to win. So those are some of the things that cross my mind when I think about our defense and I think about the defensive backs on the team.
Solomon, we appreciate you joining us here tonight. The talk of the preseason was how vanilla Al Golden's defense was, how we didn't want to show our hand, how we just kind of went out there, gave up some points. So we'll just wait to the regular season. What did you see from Al Golden in week 1, and what can we expect going into the season?
The big difference from preseason to the regular season, or at least what we saw last week, for me, it started with 2 guys. And it was TJ Slayton and BJ Hill. I'm just flat out telling you, they were dominating on the line of scrimmage. So in those 3 preseason games, what did you see? People were running the ball up left and right. They couldn't run because BJ Hill was dominating up front. So when you have 2 interior defensive tackles like that, they tend to double team on one, but you can't double team on both. You don't have a scheme where the offensive line can double team on 2 interior guys. It just won't work. So that's what happened. You couldn't double team TJ because he was beating the double team and still making plays. And so was BJ Hill. They literally got to the point where they had to throw it. Now, the big problem is what I saw is we were allowing too many completions over the middle of the field. Joe Flacco, every time he needed a throw for a first down, was right over the middle of the field. I could call the game from home. They're getting ready to throw over the middle of the field. And they were completing a lot of those passes. Fortunately, their wide receivers don't catch too well, and they were making sure that we got the interception. So that's right. So that's what I noticed. Yeah.
Well, hey, real quick, everybody. After Solomon gets off here, we have a ton of giveaways. We'll do some trivia. Tons of hats and stuff to give away here tonight as well. Appreciate everybody coming. But I don't ask serious questions, Solly, so that's for these 2. But
keep it light.
Yeah, keep it light. Let's talk about your playing days. Let's go there. We'll come back to talk about the current team, but let's talk about Sam Weiss a little bit, man. I know you guys you have some stories. I know Vulture has told us some stories about this, but Sam Weiss, one of the craziest coaches in Bengal history, I guess I'm going to say. So give the fans a fun. There's nobody watching online right now. It's just us here.
That's all right.
Anything you can share, anything you want, but share a Sam White story for us.
So you got to know, like where I went to University of Colorado, we had a coach Bill McCartney. He made our lives a living hell every single day. But that's why we won. Because, so when I came here, Sam was a very affable coach, fun-loving coach. You call him by his first name. That tells you. Most coaches, you can't call them by their first name. It would be deemed disrespectful. But Sam was such a lighthearted guy. He was such a cool guy. You could call him by his first name. You didn't have to call him Mr. Weiss or Coach Weiss. He called me Sam. So that tells you a lot about him, right? And he tended to give us a lot of leeway in the things that we would do. So we had a player in our defensive backfield. Everybody remember Lewis Billups. He came up with this idea about, we're going to do this SWAT team poster. And we're going to get these SWAT team sweatshirts. I remember we had the first trip that we wore these on, we were 6-0, and we're going out to play the New England Patriots. Remember Doug Flutie? And man, they had a really good team. They had just been in the Super Bowl, I think, 2-3 years before that, right? So we go out to play them, and we just, for whatever reason, we didn't have our mojo. Our offense wasn't doing much. Doug Flutie running all around. He's making plays. They end up winning the game. So now we're 6-1. We're no longer undefeated. And we get back. Everybody knows you're going to that Monday morning meeting. The coach is going to address the team. Sam Weiss did not even hesitate. Where's that damn SWAT team? You're wearing, I don't want to see one of those SWAT team jerks. He ripped us a new one. I don't want to see those jerseys. I don't want to see another SWAT team poster in this building. He lit into us. And I'm thinking, what happened to the nice guy? That was always cool. He lit it to us. He said he didn't want to see us sign an autograph. He gave it to us. That was his way of saying we lost the game. That's how we took it anyway. So as we get through the year, you guys know what kind of season we had. It was a very productive year for our defense. And we felt like our secondary, we were a fun group of guys that enjoyed playing together, that enjoyed making plays. And we felt if we played well, we'd win the game. So that's how we felt. So, I remember there was like our first playoff game. We played Seattle. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but we killed them. I think we had 2-3 interceptions in that game. I think we had 3 interceptions in the AFC title game against Jim Kelly. And so now Sam comes in. Hey, SWAT team, great game. You guys get to sign all the autographs you want. You guys get to take all the pictures. I love those SWAT team sweatshirts you're wearing. These are the spoils of victory, man. Enjoy it. This is what you do. And we're looking at him like, you chewed us out earlier in the year, told us we couldn't do it. And that was Sam. 1 minute he was chewing you out for one thing, and the next minute he was patting you on the back, loving you for doing the same thing. So that was Sam. You always loved him. We always appreciate that about him. But he ran hot and cold, man. 1 minute he could be like having a foot in your behind. The next minute he's hugging you and loving you. That was like I could tell the one story of how when they weren't allowing women in the locker room. You remember the women reporters? You guys remember that? Sam gave us these towels to wear in the locker room. David, you remember that? And on the front of those towels, it had like Tarzan, like this naked body, but with a leaf hanging in front of the private parts. And we were like, all right, we'll wear them, whatever, Sam. You know, we didn't push back on a lot of things he wanted to do because he was a very creative guy. And so I remember we were in a meeting. He says, they want to let these women in the locker room. I don't think you guys should have to walk around naked in these locker rooms in front of the reporters. What do you guys want to do? What do you want to say? How do you want to handle it? And we look at him like, you already told us to wear the thing, you know? And so he said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I got it. So that afternoon, we look up, we watching the television. He's on the Oprah Winfrey show. And my players don't want them in the locker room. I mean, he's talking for us. I'm thinking, is that what we said? Because I don't remember saying any of that. But that was Sam. He made it. I mean, if he were coaching today, he would go viral every other day. Is that fair, Dave? He'd go viral probably every other day. But he did. He shielded us and he took it all on himself.
That's good stuff. All right, let's go to the crowd. Any questions for Solid before we go our list? I'm going to repeat whatever you say so they can hear us online. Go ahead.
You said it passed up the middle. Somebody joking. How do you correct that? Right? What defense are they playing that's allowing that first, second, third down all the time?
So, that's a really good question. All right,
Real quick. So you're saying, so everybody at home, everybody watching virtually right now, the passes over the middle are always open. How do you stop it? Right?
Yeah.
What coverage do you do?
What can you do to stop that?
Well, whether you're man or zone coverage, every coverage really starts. And Al Golden teaches the same thing. You close off the middle of the field. You do not it's the easiest throw for a quarterback because it's the closest proximity. It's a direct throw. The ball is not going to be in the air long. So you close off the middle of the field. You force them to throw it outside the numbers. Why? Ball's in the air longer, chance to make interceptions, tips, and overthrows, and you make plays on those throws. So you close off the middle of the field with your Mike linebacker, with what we call your short safety. One of those players, we would call it dog the dig, right? Who's dogging the dig? We would know who's covering the middle of the field, right? So we always kept the safety in the middle of the field deep. We always kept the Mike linebacker in the middle of the field short, right? Now that might change because if you're in man coverage, right, you'll try to give the free one safety. If your guy stays in and block, then you're going to go in and drop and you're going to dog the dig. You're going to play that short, intermediate, middle of the field hook drop, right? And if you are in zone, then you already have a player who's going to do that. Now, offenses are smart. You know what they do? They dangle some cheese or a carrot in front of that player, and they get you to bite on it, lure you out of the middle of the field, bam, hit it right behind you. So you just got to be smart. But let's be fair, for the 11 defensive players who were playing in that game against Cleveland, it was the first time they played an Al Golden's defense. Am I right? So a lot of this is trial and error. They're going to learn, but they got to learn fast, right? They got to learn fast. So I'm not here to point a finger at anything, but yeah, it's got to be corrected. It's got to be stopped. And all 11 are responsible at the end of the day.
Go ahead, Tom.
Solly, switching to the other side of the ball, it was not the type of performance we're used to from Joe Burrow and our offense. We've seen what typically happens to what poor team comes up next after a disappointing effort from Joe.
Yeah.
Do you see something different coming this Sunday?
I can guarantee you something different is coming. Why can I make this guarantee? Because Myles Garrett won't be playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's why. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you go look at every time the Bengals play the Cleveland Browns, throw out that game at the end of last year, Myles Garrett and all those players had their U-Hauls packed. They didn't care. It was the last game of the year. But every time they play, they're going to keep the score down. But here's what I'm going to tell you now. This is what makes Joe Burrow a good quarterback. Don't worry about how many touchdowns he had. Don't worry about how many yards he had. How many interceptions did he throw? There you go. How many times did he fumble? How many times did he get hit? More times than both of those put together. But he never gave the ball to the other team. How many times did their quarterback give us the ball? There you go. That's why we won. That's why we won. That's why we won. So you have a quarterback. You have a quarterback that's not afraid to get hit. You have a quarterback that's smart, that knows whatever it is, I'm not throwing this ball into coverage, because the Cleveland Browns defense is one of the best in the league. Their talent is one of the best in the league.
We don't say Cleveland, we say City up north.
Yeah, City up north, whatever you want to call it. But you know me, I just talk ball. That's all I do. I just talk ball. Now they got 4 first-round picks on that defense. 2 on the defensive line, 2 at corner. Well, if you want to beat a team like the Bengals, you better have a pass rush. You better be able to cover. So they're built. They're smart. That guy, the GM, I know the guy really well. They're smart. That's why they're a tough out, right? And if our defense doesn't play well, we don't win. So now we got to lay waste to everybody else. So Jacksonville's next. Baltimore's coming up. We're going to get them too. But Cleveland is a tough out. The team up north. I'm going to just tell you right now, Myles Garrett is he's a tough out because he's the guy. He's the guy that makes it all
one of those players you hate, but if he was on the Bengals, you love him.
There's no doubt. The guy's a Hall of Famer, and he ain't even halfway through his career. So I was hoping that they were trading him to Dallas. Remember, he went in there and he said he wanted to be traded. Remember, he said he wanted to be traded. I was like, yeah, trade him. Yeah, Cleveland, y'all don't need him. Go ahead and trade. There you go. There you go.
Let's talk about the rookies. We drafted heavily on the defensive side, especially first and second round with Shamar Stewart, who came to camp a little bit late. And Demetrius Knight, a linebacker. Solly, you could talk about their performance in week 1.
Shamar Stewart's a hell of a player. I can tell you right now, that guy can play. He wreaks havoc. Offensive lineman can't block him. No, not one person. He has to be double teamed. His sack total was low in college, but he beat everybody in front of him. And everyone else on that defensive line got sacks. That's why they got drafted high. So Shamar Stewart's a phenomenal player. He's only going to get better. I think we have to do a better job making sure we get our players into OTAs and into training camp. And look, you got to sign them. Everybody else get their guys signed. We got to get our guys signed. Okay? Don't try to get tricky with a contract because I respect players. I respect the work they do. Just I respect the work that you guys all do. I wouldn't ask you to go to work and work under a contract that's not going to take care of you. We know that what has to happen for him. And if you do that, the guy's going to be more ready to play week 1 than not. So I'm glad we got him into camp. I think he's going to get better as the season goes on. I think he's going to be a Bengals player for a long time. He is a great player. His talent is very similar to Myles Garrett. Flat out telling you. Now, I'm going to tell you what they did for Myles Garrett when they drafted. And I'm going to ask you if we did the same for Shamar Stewart when we drafted him. You know who they brought into training? Bruce Smith. You know who Bruce Smith is? He holds the record for the most sacks in NFL history, over 200. That's more than Reggie White. So they brought in somebody who knows how to do the job to work with Myles Garrett. Who did we bring in?
Trey.
Who did? No, Trey's cool. But I mean, I'm just saying. Think about it. Next question.
Yeah, all right. Hey, we're going to go to the crowd question here. Be ready. I'm going to ask you guys something real quick. So, these fans right here, these guys have been fans for many years. Some of these guys have been fans for decades.
Yeah.
How important is it to you as a player when you're on the field and he's the crowd getting you fired up here in Cincinnati? Talk about how important the crowd is. Because Coach Taylor this week came out and said, "Hey, cut the tailgates a little short." I was a little upset about that, but we're going to cut it. We're going to cut the tailgate off at 12:15 this week to get everybody in there. But the home field advantage is something serious here in Cincinnati. Talk about that a little bit. When you guys won the Super Bowl, how big of a deal that was for you?
Oh, that's a big deal. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember in '88, we went 8-0 at home. And we felt like whenever they came and played us, we shut the door behind them. Your ass belonged to us. That's how we felt. We are getting ready to tear it up. But that's a mentality, right? But I think the crowd feeds off the energy of the team, and I think the team feeds off the energy of the crowd. I think it's a symbiotic relationship. I think it goes both ways. And I never ask the crowd to pick me up because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's got to make something happen. I'm the one that's got to put somebody on the ground. If I hit somebody and the helmet popped off, I'm sure you guys got excited about it. Am I right? And that's what I think players have to be proactive, not reactive, okay? So have your tailgate because we really need you in the fourth quarter. At the end of the day, that's what I would be preaching.
You seen a 2-beer minimum at the tailgate?
I mean, no, do your tailgate. You do your tailgate. You're here at the game. You paid for your ticket. You get to come in when you want. Because I'm gonna tell you, come second half, come fourth quarter, that's where the energy really needs to be at its highest.
We're ready. We'll be there. We'll be there. Any questions for? Go ahead, Brian.
All right. Watched you all our lives and all that stuff. Seen you obviously on the field as a player. Saw you in the booth, sideline, podcast, all the other places. What's your favorite gig from all the player aside? Like the booth, sideline. Like where do you like to be?
So the question was for everybody on air right now. Outside of being a player, kind of what was your favorite gig, right? Brian, is kind of what you're saying. Solid's done it all now.
Yeah. I had to do it all, man. But no, I love calling games. When I've talked to guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, because I told Peyton I think you'd be great at it, and I think Tom's great at it because I think he could take you inside of what quarterbacks are thinking in critical moments in games. And I just think I'm very analytical. I think just being that way, being wired that way. It's kind of like you get to coach the fans, you get to coach the viewers and help them to understand what's taking place out there real time, right? And look, when we go into the game, you try to study, you try to anticipate what's going to happen. But when they snap that ball, man, anything can go down. And that's what's really fun, right? It's kind of like a Broadway play. You're on that stage, you're in the middle of it all, and the fans are counting on the information that you're providing for them. And to get it right and to do it right, it's a real magical thing. So I've always enjoyed that. Really did. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so real quick, I'm going to ask Tyler a real quick question. Go back to you, Tom. Anybody know Lisa over here? Don't buy her any drinks. She gets a little crazy. we talked to Paul Dana Jr. this week on the pod. We talked about what's the least amount of wins you think, and what's the most amount of wins? The floor or the ceiling for the Cincinnati. Lisa says 17 win max regular season, 0 loss category, but be realistic. Don't be Lisa. Don't be Lisa. What's the floor? What's the ceiling for Bengals loss and win? What do you think? Your team.
Well, I think the floor for wins is 10.
Okay.
That's the floor. I mean, I'm taking the over, right? We could get 10 wins. But you do have to, I think winning early is important. You go back and watch Joe Burrow, watch him and how he's played and watch how he plays. When he gets clicking, when he gets into a rhythm, he runs off a string of wins. He does that. And you remember the year he got, 2023. We went out and we played. We got up to a really tough start, obviously. But we went out and played the 49ers. Remember that year? He was dealing. I mean, and that was the year the Niners went to the Super Bowl. And he laid waste to them. He was in his rhythm. The very next week, next week he played Baltimore. He got hurt, out for the year. He was getting ready to go on a run. And that's what he does. He gets hot. He gets locked in on what teams are trying to do to him. And you can tell when he's feeling it now. He gets locked in, man. It's like, you ever see somebody solve a Rubik's Cube? They're fumbling around with it. Next thing you know, boom, 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 bam, it's locked. That's what he does. He's an intelligent, bright player, and he's dissecting defenses. He's trying to understand what they're doing. And these defenses are complex. Trust me when I tell you. And he needs 10 other guys to be on the same page with him. But when that happens, he goes on a run. And then he starts scoring those 30-point games that we saw last year, right? Now, I will say this. Quarterbacks can't win games by themselves, guys. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in our league. There's 53 guys out there for a reason. The other guys got to pull their weight. But he just needs guys who are kind of in that boat, rowing in the same direction with the same energy. And we can get 10 wins easy. After that, again, it's hard to win in this league. And I'll say that every single day. But we can get 10. And anything above that, you know it's going to be a very special year.
All right, thanks. Go ahead.
Sal, you talked about Joe Burrow, and certainly nothing matters with him. We're not going to get to where we want to be without him. And management has drafted offensive linemen early.
Yeah.
They've drafted them in the middle rounds and tried to develop them. They've spent money on free agency. They're still not quite there. We don't have that fortune. We've yet to see him in his career be able to sit back and just cook. Do you think with the addition of Dylan Fairchild, what they're trying now at right guard, Ted Karras being steady in the talent, at the time, are we finally there? Do we have those 5 guys up front, protect him and let him do his thing?
It's gotten better. I like Dylan Fairchild, by the way. I mean, this dude can go. And they're playing around with the other guard position. They're rolling a lot of guys, too. The fact is they spent money. They've continued to commit resources, right? Trying to spin a lot of guys through there to make sure it works. Look, the tackles are great. I think they're going to be fine. But with a quarterback like Joe Burrow, you got to be strong up the middle. In fact, I would argue that the best money spent is on center and the 2 guards because he needs to be able to step up in the pocket. Pressure off the corner doesn't bother him. The great quarterbacks were pocket guys. Pressure coming up the field off the corner, they don't care. He's going to step up in the pocket, vision downfield, and deliver dimes. So you got to keep the pocket clean in front of him. Make sure they're not getting a push in his face. And as long as he's got room to step into throws, right, he's going to be fine. But right now, I think Scott Peters, I like him as an offensive line coach. But when you change coaching, that means you're changing technique. When you change technique, you ever play golf? Who all play golf? When somebody changes the technique on your swing, do you get better right away? No, you get worse before you get better. That's what happens when techniques are changed. I'm telling you right now, but you got to trust it. That's like when somebody trying to change the jump shot. Man, you're gonna be throwing up bricks for a while. Then after a while, it's called time on task. And once you have had that time to perfect that new craft or that new technique, then you become more consistent. Then you become better. But you tend to struggle early in the process when you have to make those changes.
Let's go to one more question out here for the fans. Yes, Chris.
Are you bringing them cookies? Because the score. I think it's about at least a 3-4 point differential if you're bringing cookies.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
that is a given. Chris will have cookies Sunday. But the question was, what can we expect with your score prediction for the Jaguars game Sunday?
I'm gonna say about 30-14. 30-14. We can get 30. Now don't sleep on the Jaguars. They've got some players. They got this Colorado Buff on the team. You might have heard of him. Travis Hunter's a good player, but I don't know that he's gonna be able to cover Jamar Chase. No, they're not very good. They're damn good.
Hey, so before we get, I know you got to get out of here. Let's talk about David Fulcher. Coming on next. You can say anything you want because you're leaving. We're not going to do the same thing about you, but you'll be gone. So talk about David Fulcher. Give me something. We know he's damn good safety. He's a big boy back there, late. Love to hit. But give us something like the fans wouldn't know about David Fulcher. Some playing days. His wife's here, so be careful.
Sorry.
So give me something about David Fulcher. Maybe the fans don't know.
Well, look. So you guys. No, it's all right. Dave's okay. Dave know I can handle this, right, Dave? So you guys got to understand. So David and I, we grew up in the same city and didn't know each other. We grew up in Los Angeles, California, and did not know each other growing up because it's a big city, right?
Was he a blood and you were Crip?
We can't talk about that. But I remember one night, I was home after we had played a game. I'm watching Arizona State play USC, and of course, I have friends who I had played high school with who played for USC, and they're playing Arizona State. I'm watching this game. There's this guy out there playing safety, wearing number 7. He's lean. He's about 215, knocking everybody out. I mean, just killing USC. I'm like, who the hell is this dude? Like, who is this guy? I'm starting to look at David Focher, Los Angeles, California. I ain't never heard of him. How is he playing against? He's supposed to be playing for USC, not against USC. But he beat USC by himself. Like, you and Eric Allen was in the game. Yeah. Like, him and Eric Allen, the guy just went in the Hall of Fame. They were on the same team in college. I'm telling you, at Arizona State. I watched this game, and I'm like, who is this dude? So now, all these years later, I get drafted at Bengals, and I'm thinking, David's already here. I'm looking at, is that the same guy? So I go over to him, I said, man, didn't you go to Arizona State? Were you a guy who played against USC? I said, you bad dude, man. You bad. I was like, so, when you come into an NFL locker room, the last thing you do is you don't tell another player, I admired you, I watched you, I looked up to you. Like, because you gotta have some bravado about yourself, some swagger, right? The only guy I said that to was Anthony Munoz, said it was real. Like, he's the guy I did with. Anthony and Max, those were guys that I grew up watching those guys play. They were phenomenal. But no, David was the guy that when you watched him play, you admired the way that he played. I mean, his physicality, the ferocity in which he played. And Dave had this knack of making plays. Dave didn't find the ball found him. Am I right, Dave? Like, the ball found him. And he made a lot of big plays, and that's why he had such a great career. But, I kind of looked at him and saw him do that in college. He was an All-American. Weren't you an All-American at Arizona State? For a reason.
You're in the Hall of Fame, right?
There you go. So I'm not making it up. I'm just telling you. And that was the first time I saw David Focher play, and I was just blown away. And it was a privilege really to play with him here with the Bengals in my NFL career.
Hey, two players from the SWAT team are here, man. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And I remember Focher, we had him on the podcast for the first time probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I pulled up this old video. And it was a video of him he might have been a sophomore maybe at Arizona State. And they're interviewing him. And I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, we looked at a picture. He had a high top little fade and hair up to here. He was looking good, man. But before we let you go, we want to let everybody know there are QR codes on your tables. Tom, you want to talk about literally the Cincinnati Charitable Fund? We literally, it's 9/11. We're talking about first responders. Talk about what we're doing here tonight. We want to raise some money for these guys. Talk about that a little bit.
The Cincinnati Firefighters Charitable Fund, it's a new fund developed by the firemen themselves and their union, and it's for firemen that have been injured, that need help. Maybe their families need help. Maybe they're injured and they can't do things around the house. And that's only step one. God forbid if we lose one of them on the job. It's there to help their families. And not just that, they may have psychological issues from what they've seen in a fire, what they had to go in and rescue, and the things they have to do. So, on September 11th, while we remember all those heroes in New York, and firefighters are heroes every day, certainly try and remember, if you can, give a little something to our own here in Cincinnati that look after us 24/7, 365. A number of them are coming tonight. We understand there was a large meeting called very suddenly at the Firefighters Lodge, and that might be why some of them are delayed. But if you can, please get to them, because there's nobody braver or finer than Cincinnati. I mean, our favorite team is the Cincinnati Bengals, but our most important team might be our Cincinnati Firemen.
That's right. Can everybody hold up those QR? You have a QR code. Can you hold those up? Make sure you have one. So here's what we're gonna do tonight. If you can scan, just take a picture of that, put your camera on there, donate whatever you want. We got about, I don't know, 70, 80 people here total. That'd be real nice, 10, 20 bucks a piece, something like that. What we'll do, when you scan and you donate to that fund, it goes directly to our 501c3. Tomorrow, when we're done, we will actually post how much was raised tonight, and we'll show you the receipt that was sent to the Cincinnati Charitable Firefighters Fund tonight. So if you can scan those codes, donate to that charity, we really appreciate it tonight. Everything we do, guys, at the tailgate, we got Dell and Craig and a lot of our tailgate partners here tonight. Folger's always there, raising money for his foundation. A lot of tailgate folks. Everything we do, we're going to tie some sort of charity into it. Last year, guys, because of you, we raised $169,000 for local charities. Guys, if you would have told me back in 1993 when we had our first tailgate that this tailgate would be where it's at today, we're going to use this platform, our podcast, our social media platforms, and our tailgate to help as many foundations as we possibly can for as long as we can. And that's because of you guys. We appreciate you guys. We thank you. And I want to, one more time, let's give it up for the Bengal legend here tonight, Solomon Wilcots.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank all of you. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we do a guest swap here. We'd be remiss not to thank
You got to watch this.
Daniel and Marissa over to stage. All right, your left.
They've been here since 2 o'clock.
Been here since 2 o'clock getting set up. You've probably seen them on the TWS Ed Network. All the great work that Daniel, Marissa, and Malik do. So let's give our producers for the night, Daniel, Marissa, big round.
Okay, well, Bengal Jim is going to take a break that men of that age need to take frequently. You will invite our next guest, David Folger, up to the stage. So who all's able to make it down to Baycor on Sunday? We can't underestimate, before David and Solly were Bengals, I saw a team through the 70s as the NFL grew. At the end of the 70s, the Bengals were stale. We had the Homer Rice Bengals. We were 4-12. Nothing was happening. The 1981 team brought the Bengals really into the NFL. All of a sudden, we were the city where guys were dressing up. We were the city where guys were painting their faces. We're the only city in history that had idiots out there with no shirts on at minus 69 degrees. But nonetheless, the home field advantage has never been more important in the NFL. And like Solomon said, come fourth quarter, we're going to need it, not just this week against Jacksonville, but every single week of the rest of the season. So we'll look forward to seeing you at the tailgate. The tailgate will cease at 12:15.
12:15, he says. Starts up at 9:30. We're just heeding to Zach Taylor's words of getting early. Seems to be that southeast corner of Paycor. There's a huge line to get in with, popular gate, but tailgate will start at 9:30. We're going to have a couple special guests, maybe the ruler of the jungle. The ruler of the jungle has been known to stop by. If you missed that announcement, that'll be Sam Hubbard. The ladies are cheering. The guys are looking around. But, looking forward to it. We're in our same spot. A lot of new partners. We want to thank Craig with Cincy Beer Fest for getting High Grain, our new beer partner for this year. So thank you, Craig, for doing that. Jimmy alluded to David and his wife will be out with their charity booth. Icky, some new tailgate partners that will be out, including a taco company, our regular staples, Donato's, Skyline, who else? Our friends over here, Everything Bagels, with a way to get your morning started. So thank you to Everything Bagels, and come on down and have some fun, and looking forward to it.
The undervalued thing about Everything Bagels nobody talks about is the Fairfax location in my morning smoothie and their great staff. Everybody's talking about their Eastgate place. They're right there on Easter Pike. So they're in. When you said how thankful you were about the tailgate, I'm just thankful Craig made it home safely from Cleveland. I listened to those phone calls coming down I-71. The man was terrified. We're just lucky he got home safe.
I'm going to give one more shout out for everything bagels. We talk about the breakfast bagels, but about 3 weeks ago, I had one of the sandwiches, like a lunch sandwich with chips, like an everything bagel with roast beef and whatever. Those are wonderful too. So I think oftentimes we think of bagels just for breakfast, but if you're looking for a good lunch sandwich, definitely giving them a shout out for that as well.
And again, thank you to Daniel and Marissa for making this possible. It's only possible because of them. Certainly not Malik, who, is brushing his teeth, getting ready for bed. But, Dr. Excitement, it's sure and thank you for us. So,
All right,
but
Tom,
at this time,
Tom, it's time. Let's introduce our next guest. We got some former Bengal players on the way right now. I'm getting text messages. We got some more players on the way. But introduce our next guest.
Solomon spoke of Sam White. And I can remember in the 80s, right, with the Super Bowl run, Sam White said, "We have 3 superstars on this team: Anthony Munoz, Boomer Esiason, and David Fulcher." And he was right. He was really the one of the 1-2 punch on the Bengals defense. He made such a difference. He was a guy opposing offenses were scared of, and he was a joy and a pleasure to watch. So we welcome future Ring of Honor member, number 33, David Fulcher.
Welcome, Big Dog. Appreciate you.
I get to sit next to Big Jim.
Hey, I was hoping to sit next to Judy, man.
Okay. I got you.
Tom, get it started here, man. We got another Bengal legend on the stage with us.
So, David, what were your impressions after the off season, the preseason, and now game number 1 being done with the team that's got some kind of weird hex to make us play bad? Coming out of Cleveland, are you happy? Are we worried? What are?
Well, Solomon said it. 1-0. It don't matter how you got there. You're 1-0. But impressed. It's early. Still got a long way to go. I heard the question earlier about but not showing all his tricks. You still got to tackle people, and you still got to do all that other stuff from cover. So preseason. Some people say preseason is just preseason. I thought preseason was supposed to get you ready for the regular season. So you need to play in preseason. I'm excited to see Joe Burrow play in preseason. Not enough, but just enough to get the timing down. But I was impressed to watch the defense play the way they played, because you look at the statistics and you look at all the numbers of that game. Cleveland, that team up north.
You almost said it.
I almost said it. I think Cleveland, that team up north, probably should have won that football game. But I think that the way the defense played and kept us in the game, it gave us a chance to win it, and they wound up winning the game.
For many, many decades, I've watched the Bengals lose a lot of games they played really, really pretty. I don't apologize for winning a game of it.
No. And fortunate for us, and I've seen it over the last 5 or 6 years, that any game that's close, we don't win. We had a close game and we won one. So let's take it and move on forward.
As a former player, David, talk about the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday going into the following week. How much of it is recovery? How much of it is watching film from the week prior? What went wrong? What went right? And how much of it is watching the game plan for the upcoming opponent?
You basically said all of it. On Monday, when you come in from a game on Sunday, Monday is refresh day. All the guys that are sore and hurt come in, take care of all those things. You need some, you need some rub work, muscles relaxing or whatever. And then on Tuesday, we're off. But now, Tuesdays, we're off for the guys that are not hurt. So you get double days. You come in on Monday, look at some film, lift some weights, get the aches and pains out the way. Tuesday is an off day for the guys that are, don't have anything to do. And then game plan is set on Wednesday. And they do a bunch of game planning. And that's where the games are won, on Wednesday. People think that we win the games on Sunday. Wednesday is preparation. They throw everything that we know about that team to us on Wednesday. and the game plan is set. Thursday, Friday, you do long down, third and long, nickel on Thursday, and Friday short yardage. So whatever the game plan that's set by LeBeau, we did all that stuff during the week, and then we travel on Saturday, or we stay home on Saturday, and Sunday, everything that we went through that week, we get ready to do it and put it out on the field. So yeah, it's a see, a lot of people don't know, because everybody just thinks that we play on Sunday. It's like going to work. It is work. You work Monday through Sunday or Monday through Saturday, and then you go out and you knock people out on Sunday.
There's a lot of talk about Lou when he was here, maybe overcomplicating the defense. The players were having to think too much. Supposedly that's simplified now with Al leading the Bengals this year. Tell us your thoughts on that. Is there a time when coaches made things too difficult? Perhaps you're overthinking things. And would you rather have kind of that simple defense where you can go out, be a player, and make a play?
Well, people look at football, or you'll hear about systems. Not every system can fit the football player. Sometimes you got to have a football player to fit the system, or vice versa. And I think that when he came in here, he changed the whole system around, because he brought a system into the players that he had. Sometimes you got to look at these players and say, I'm looking, like Solomon said about a lot of stuff across the middle, wide open. Well, we had a defense, and we call it dog the dig. Solomon said that. The dig, that means anything across the middle from the line of scrimmage, about 12 to 15 yards in the middle, it should be covered. Well, I was that guy, and I love when LeBeau used to call one dog the dig, because he's talking about me. Solomon's over the top, David's about 12 to 15 yards in the middle of the field. Today, a receiver can go across the middle, because he's not worried about getting knocked out or getting fined for the safety hitting you. Back in my day, you come across the middle, we're going to hit you. We're going to go get you. So we ran dog the dig quite often. I think there was probably 2 or 3 times that we ran dog the dig that it didn't work. And one of them happened to be in the Super Bowl, when Jerry Rice caught that ball across the middle. It was like 3rd down and 17. And Fulton was supposed to come up and hit him, and I wound up hitting Harry Thomas. And then Ricky Dixon made the tackle at the 1st down. And that was a crucial play. That play is to funnel all the receivers into the middle of the field. We want them to go in the middle, because there's 33 sitting in the middle. There's a linebacker, Leo Barker or Joe Kelly, sitting in the middle. Joe might be at 5 yards, Davis at 15. So you throw the ball across the middle, it's either going to get intercepted, knocked down, or that receiver might get knocked on his back. Yeah, can't take it.
All right. So, David, I know you played for Arizona State. Have you ever tailgated before you came to Cincinnati and started tailgating with us?
I have learned tailgating because of you.
All right. So, how many people here come to the tailgate? Raise your hand. Guys, we'll have several thousand people. And what I love about it is we're not half the part. We got a lot of people working their butts off. A lot of them are here tonight to make that tailgate happen. But what's really fun about this is David Fulcher and his wife Judy set up every single tailgate, and they have their own charity. So I want you to take a little bit of not talking about football, but talk about what you're doing at the tailgate and what you're raising money for and how important that is to you.
So I retired in 95, and Judy was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 97. We had no idea what it was. It came back with about 3, 4, 5 different, what's the word I'm looking for? Diagnosis of her being sick, and none of them was right. Had her taking all these medicines, and it was making her sick. And then 2 years later, they said it's MS. So we figured out how we could raise money back then, golf tournaments, speaking engagements, raising money to help the National Society with MS. But then when I was doing all these things that I was doing and raising all this money, I realized that the money wasn't being raised for a cure. It was being raised to pay salaries. So I told her, I'm stopping. I'm not doing that no more. I would rather give that money to the person themselves so they can do what they need to do with whether it's drugs, whether it's shopping, whether it's clothes, whatever it may be. So for the last, umpteen years, I don't know how many years it's been going on, over 20 years, we have started our foundation, and we changed the name a few times, but it's Filters for Life, because we got it. Judy has MS for life. So it's Filters for Life, and our goal is to help families or an individual in that family who has MS, and we will give them dollars instead of putting that money towards the society. We would give them the money that we raise so they can go out and take care of their household and buy the things that they need so that they don't have to worry about the insurance taking money, because insurance and MS, they don't get along. I mean, there's probably a whole bunch of illnesses out there that insurance don't get along. But that's our goal. Our goal was to help families who were affected by MS, whether it's a husband, a wife, a mom, a daughter, whoever it is. And when we come there on Sundays, we're not there. I'm really not there for the Bengals. I'm there for the folks who are associated with MS. When it's all said and done, at the end of the year, we do things for those families. So that's what we've been doing, and that's what we like doing.
Man, that's what it's about right there. I think I just saw Malik Wright. Malik, you out there? Hey, give it up for Malik Wright and his crew here tonight. Appreciate you guys. Malik, we love you guys. The best. So let's go back to some questions from the audience here. Any questions for David Fulcher tonight, anybody? I can't see. Go ahead, John. We'll repeat the question.
Dave, I was curious what your thoughts are about last year. He's no longer here. What do you think about the young guys? The question for David is, what about our linebacker crew? Jermaine Pratt, obviously not here. Oren Burks brought in from Philadelphia, drafted Barrett Carter, drafted Demetrius Knight. Tell us about the existing linebacker crew. What you think, David?
Well, it all starts up front. And what I mean by starts up front, you got to have those 3 down linemen, those 4 down linemen to even know that the linebackers exist. Everybody wants to blame things on linebackers not making plays, but it's hard to make a play when you got a guard or a tackle in your face. So I think these linebackers, and I think Solomon said it earlier about maybe the DBs, but these are some young, fast, hungry guys. And I think this linebacker that we got right now are, don't get me wrong now, Pratt was the leader. Leaders don't leave. They stay and they fight. Pratt wanted to leave because his linebacker coach now is going to be the defensive coordinator that he didn't like when he was here with him. We won't tell the world that, but I just did anyway. But I tell you what, I think our linebackers are pretty good. They're young and they're happy. They're hungry. And if the guys up front can keep those guards and those tackles off of those linebackers, our defense is going to be pretty special.
So we got fans here tonight from Colorado. We got Colorado in the house. We got Florida in the house. We got a couple that has moved here from Florida because of the Cincinnati Bengals, Josh and G. He's not from Detroit. He is from Detroit, but he's a Bengals fan. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Oh, we got the International Fan of the Year from 23. Yes, John from the Toronto area, International Fan of the Year. We appreciate everybody coming tonight. Any other questions from the fans? Let's keep going with the folks in house tonight. Any questions for Fulcher?
Give us a story about Solomon.
Oh yeah, that's right. So the question was, give us a story about Solomon. He's not here. You say anything you want. Nobody
This probably be good.
Nobody can say anything you want. He's gone.
Anything I want about Solomon?
He's gone.
He might hear it later.
No,
That's all.
it's not being taped.
No, I don't. I mean, the story about Solomon. Wow. Solomon was our quarterback on defense. A lot of people say that, you got the quarterback on offense. Boomer Esiason was our quarterback. Solomon was our quarterback. He was the guy that was the director of the band, telling people where to go. Go here, you go there. You go here, you go there. And a few times I would go where I thought I was supposed to be going, and I could hear Solomon chewing me out. You're in the wrong place. Until I made the play, and he said, "Good job, Dave." But Solomon was, and still is, and you guys heard Solomon very intelligent, very articulate, you know, and when you have a guy like that giving you directions, you can't miss. You can't mess up. And I liked it because everything I did was in front of Solomon. So at the end of the year, when we had tackles, David's in 130, 140 year tackle, Solomon's in that 80 or 90, because I didn't want to miss a tackle because I didn't want to hear Solomon shoot me out. So it wasn't because I was trying to be greedy. It was just the simple fact that, you know, I got the nickname Rock from hitting a guy from Colorado State in college. And they used to always call me the Rock. LeBeau even called me the Rock. Named the defense after David. And my job was to make tackles. Solomon's job was to cover everybody, all the DBs over the top, intercept the ball. And Solomon's a good dude, man. Solomon, I can tell you, the SWAT team, we talk about the SWAT team. I don't know. I really don't know where it came from. I just know we used to just hit people. And I'm thinking, how do you call us a SWAT team when we hit people? And then you got Eric Thomas and Lewis Phillips intercepting balls. So we were just a dynamite secondary led by Solomon. Everybody says David was the countenance of the guy that got it done. No, Solomon was the illustrator. He was the orchestrator. He was the guy that got us all lined up. And if we didn't have Solomon back there, we wouldn't have been a SWAT team.
Very disappointed in that answer. We thought we wanted something deeper than that, David. But that's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't have anything deeper.
Yeah, he's standing back there in the corner. Listen, that's why you did that.
I don't know. Solomon and Solomon. I tell you what, he did get on my nerves a lot, but Solomon and Solomon.
We got to follow up 17-0, Lisa.
The question was, Solomon was the leader of the defense when David played. Who is the defensive leader today on this year's team?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, it's Logan Wilson, you know, Trey could be that guy. I don't know, man. I don't, you know, I watched Trey in the game. Trey was out there telling everybody goodbye, and we still had some time left in the game. I don't know if that's the guy you want to be your leader. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes it takes a group effort. Maybe everybody on that defensive team is the guy that gets the other guy going. You know, the linebackers are telling DBs to make plays. DBs are telling the pass rush to get in there and sack the quarterback. So, you know, I think it's a collective group of guys that somebody's going to step up and be the leader. And normally a linebacker could be the leader because he's the one making all the calls and the plays. But a secondary guy could be that too. So who knows?
I'd like to thank a couple quick people. Tom, you got the next question. But I want to thank Mark and Lori from Everything Bagel. If you've ever been to the tailgate, I think they have some very, very special bagels. I got a video from Mark and Lori, I think today or yesterday. They're mixing up some very bright orange bagels for the Orange Out this Sunday. We appreciate you guys. We love you being part of it. They've been part of the tailgate since the Super Bowl run. I remember going up to Kansas City for the AFC Championship game. I go by the location up in Eastgate, and I filled my car up with like hundreds of bagels and bagel chips and cream cheese. And we get up to Kansas City the next day, and they were gone within an hour. We had like 6,000 people at the tailgate up there. We appreciate you being part of this family. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Also would like to thank, I think Jell might have left, but Craig Johnson, Beer Fest, Cincy Beer Fest. If you've ever been to the tailgate and you go to our bar, all the brew, all the beer, all the cigars, all the liquor and Bengal bombs we have, it is that man right there, Craig Johnson. We love you, buddy. Thank you so much. So when you come to the game, when you come to the tailgate this Sunday, we do Bengal bombs. We have more than like 20 people at the tailgate now. So Craig has this contraption that does Bengal bombs. Like he can knock out like 100 Bengal bombs in like 10 minutes. So it is Craig Johnson. We appreciate you, buddy, and everything you do for us. And he's a very big part of everything we do. I'm probably missing people I can't see, but and thank you for being part of everything we do with the tailgate as well. Tom, get us going again here.
David, we grilled Solomon a little bit about your area, the defensive backfield. Let's talk up front. if you want better coverage, get a better pass rush. You want a better pass rush, get more coverage. How do you see it come together? Now they got Trey signed. It looked like, and I know Cleveland's offensive line is not what it was. We were getting some pressure up the middle. Now we got the young guy on the other side, not just getting stuff for himself, getting pressures for himself, but helping the other guys get to the quarterback. Is that going to be a strength this year for this team?
Well, I think so. I think it will be. I think you got Trey, and Trey's going to push the tackle back. You can put pressure on the quarterback. When you don't have a push up front, whether it's outside or inside, it's very hard to cover a moving target. If you give a quarterback 3 to 5 seconds to throw the football, it's hard to cover those guys down the field. But when you're putting pressure on the quarterback and you're making him throw the football within 2 seconds, maybe 3 to 2 seconds, the ball's got to come out quick. So it's coming. And those corners are out there on the island. When they're out there on the island, they're on their own. I mean, I was fortunate because when I played man-to-man, I was covering tight ends or backs out the backfield, but I can get right up on top of the tight end at the line of scrimmage. And he's got to run past the defensive end or somebody else while I'm covering him. And a lot of times that wasn't the quarterback's target. But when you don't put pressure up front, and the front seven has to be in the quarterback's face. You don't want to be in the quarterback's face blitzing every time, but you've got to be in his face. You've got to have him put pressure on him, make him throw the football, because if you grab a receiver, it's called holding. If you push him 5 yards down the field, it's pass interference. So we're looking for the guys up front to put pressure on the QB. That way it makes our game easy.
There aren't a frequent criticism of the guys up here. We're not big fans of the media outside of Cincinnati. But one criticism we did get from media outside of Cincinnati that I agree with was our defense was not athletic the last couple years. They weren't quick enough. They just were not athletic. You think they've improved that in the draft?
Yeah, I think so. See, the thing about playing football, man, not everybody can run a 4-3. And for me, a 4-3 guy is the guy that should be running track. Football is not a track meet. Football is about making plays. I remember my 40-yard dash when I came to the NFL. And I didn't go to the combine because I was a redshirt junior that they had not accepted yet for me to come to the NFL. So I ran a 4.75 in the 40. But people always tell me, man, you fast. I said, no, from A to B, I'm pretty quick. But when it comes to C, it's like, see you later. When we played the Raiders and Bo Jackson was in the backfield, there was no way I can catch Bo Jackson outside the tackles. But when he was inside the tackles, I'm just as fast as he is because I'm going to make a play. And I think sometimes people fail to realize that football, once again, is not a track meet. Like Solomon said, we wake up in the morning to make plays. You're in the game, I'm trying to make a play. I'm trying to help my team. I'm trying to do things that people said I couldn't do. And, the Mel Kipers of the world, those guys that have been around for a long time, Mel said that there's no way I could play safety in the NFL. And I think I proved him wrong because I was a guy that, like Solomon said, I think the ball found me. I knew where the ball was going. And fortunately for me, when I was a kid in high school, I played both sides of the ball. I was a receiver and a defensive back. So when I lined up to safety, when I see those receivers line up real wide, he's not going to run no out. He's either coming across the middle or he's going to get the pass in the middle. And I just knew where the ball was going. So I was there before the ball got thrown, and enjoyed playing football.
Over your career, David, you mentioned Bo Jackson. Was there a team or a player that you hated playing? Maybe that one player that was a pain in the butt to tackle? Was there somebody that stood out that, man, this guy's a bear to take out?
I don't think I don't know, would you say hated playing somebody? I love playing everybody. It didn't matter who it was, but that team up north, they had a couple of wide receivers that ran their mouths a lot. Webster Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne, Ernest Bynum. Bernie Kosar tried to talk, but he couldn't throw the ball across the middle because he was throwing the sideline. But there were teams, there were players that you couldn't wait to play. You just couldn't wait because all they did was talk. You know, and Deion Sanders. When Deion Sanders played for Atlanta, he was a punt returner, and he also played corner. He talked so much. The only thing I hated about it was when I was on the field, he was off the field. I was hoping and praying that he was playing some offense, but he never played offense when we played. But you play against guys, man, that you don't really want to hurt them, but you just want to let them know that there's a guy on the other side of the ball that's waiting for you to do something or say something. And Cleveland Browns did it. Pittsburgh, we didn't care about Pittsburgh, but the Houston Oilers was another team. You know, Warren Moon, Ernest Gibbons. Them guys were they were pretty good, and they talk a lot too. But you know, when you talk a lot, you better back it up, because if you don't back it up, you're gonna get talked about.
Coach had a big mouth too.
Huh?
Their coach had a big mouth.
Oh yeah, you guys. I don't know if y'all remember it wasn't a debacle, but it was Sam Weiss's onside kick. We're up 54-7 on Houston. And Sam Weiss onside kick, and we got the onside kick and scored another touchdown. And Glanville was on the other side, and boy, let me tell you, if they don't bleep it today, but they bleeped it back then. And him and Sam did not like each other. They couldn't stand each other. But we and you guys talked about Sam earlier. That was a guy you could play for. That's why when this guy asked me to do something, it reminded me of Sam Weiss. I'm showing up. I was in Greece, and he texted me and said, "Are you coming tonight?" I said, "Dude, it's like 4:00 in the morning."
No, hold on.
But I said, "I'm coming."
Here's what Fulcher said, 4:00 in the morning. Man, I made pizza by myself for the first time in Greece. And he didn't like it.
I said that, but I was coming to this show tonight.
All right. Folks, we love you, big dog. Hey,
Yes, sir.
we're all about helping using what we're doing here, this platform, to help others. Recognize our Bengal legends. We will never let any of the fans forget about our Bengal legends, like Solomon Wilcots, David Fulcher. And we're going to bring somebody up here. He didn't expect to come up here and say anything, but we're going to bring Joe Kelly up here, Bengals linebacker during the 88-89 Super Bowl. We're going to bring Joe up. But folks, we love you and your family, man. You guys are the best. Is that Joe back there?
I can't see him. That light's killing him.
Hey, is that Joe?
I see his big head, though.
Walk that big head up here, Joe.
I see it.
Hey, as Joe's walking up here, we got to get something on video here. We're going to do the Who Dey chant as loud as we can. And we're going to post this. So I need it as loud as we can. Hey, come on up here, Joe. You knew we want to picture this. Let's get it started. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Who Dey? Who Dey? Who Dey? Who Dey?
As always, we appreciate you, David. And if you're going to be at the tailgate Sunday, stop by, see David and his beautiful
He'll be
wife.
there. He'll be there.
Check out
We need
what they're off.
somebody to help David down off the stage. You need a cane? You good? Good, man. Hold on. Yeah, come on, let me push you off the stage. You good? Joe Kelly, where you at? I know you weren't expecting to come up here. I hope you weren't drinking a whole lot. Get up here. Let's go. Where you at? Okay, fine, Joe. Here you come. I can't even see him. All right. Marissa Contapelli, who was supposed to be here about 8:20, texted me right before the show started. She films a Bengals show that airs on Sundays. They were running so far behind on filming it. She is not going to be here tonight. So not as pretty, but Joe Kelly is going to come up here. And we're going to take about 10 minutes with Joe. I should have had Tiffany come up here, but you know. Hey, are you bringing a shot? Come on, old man. Come on.
Hey, David, can you drive him home?
Don't fall off the side.
No, I ain't full rock. I'm a little more sturdy than Rock.
Hey, Tom, do an introduction for Joe.
He was a big leader and a big part of the heart of the team that went to the Super Bowl in 1988. We got him out of the University of Washington, snuck him in here. He was mean, he was fast, he was tough, he was smart, and we're thankful that he picked Cincinnati to be his own after he's decided to retire from football. Please welcome Joe Kelly.
Who they, baby? Who they? Who they?
It's the other's been drinking. We don't know what he's going to say.
No, just start. Just start.
He's looking.
Get figured out now.
He's fine. Hey, Joe, we were just talking to Solomon. We talked to David. Talking about, you were an athletic linebacker and you could hit. Kind of two things this defense has lacked a little bit the last couple of years. After watching them Sunday and through the preseason, you think we're on the right track? Are we trending up?
I think we're on the right track. I love 55, man. 55 is a linebacker, man. And he got hurt a little bit, came back in the game, but the young linebackers, those guys, they're feisty, they're athletic, they can run, and I think once they learn the defense, they'll just get better. The speed of the game right now is really, really fast to them. We first come from college. I don't care what college you went to, you get to this level and goddamn it, it's fast. Everybody's fast. So I think over time, they both the young linebackers, inside guys got a lot of play, right? So I think those guys are gonna get better. I think with Logan can stay healthy, and he can be that tutor, that mentor, for those guys. We're gonna see some linebackers that can smack somebody, run around, and be a lot more athletic than we've been.
Joe, we appreciate you joining us, just like all the fans here. The one thing I appreciate about you, Joe, is see you on the road at a lot of games. You're a fan just like us, cheering on the Bengals.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, being a former player, being in the stands now, Bengals shoes on the other foot. Do you find yourself watching those linebackers, the position you play? Do you think, man, that play was open? Tell us your perspective now, being a former player and being where we are as a fan in the stands.
Well, I'll tell you first about tailgating, right? So I went to the University of Washington, right? Most beautiful stadium in the United States, right? And they don't tailgate in tailgate, right? So right on where our stadium is, there's probably 200 boats. So as a freshman going over to the hotel and coming back, I looked and, just didn't know what tailgating was, never seen it before, kind of got enamored with it. And, throughout my 11 years in NFL, you drive up to the game and, everybody's lit, right? It's 7 o'clock, right? So I said when I retired, I was going to fucking tailgate. And I've been tailgating since 98, right? So, I'm dead serious. I couldn't wait to tailgate, and we tailgate. I tailgated when I met my wife. She let me tailgate six years before she figured it out. Well, she really only came because she thought of some chicks down there, right? And then she finally came after 6 years, and she said she was tired of us fellas down there just eating hot dogs and ketchup and no napkins and rubbing our hands on our clothes. So she's going to bring the napkins and all that stuff, right? So, now our tailgate has evolved, but, I love football, man. And, I played for 6 teams, but I'm a Bengal, right? I'm a Bengal at heart, and stayed here in Cincinnati, started my business here in Cincinnati, and, love coming to the game. Love, Bengal Jim let me be a part of his tailgate on the road, unsolicited, uncensored. The kids in here, right? So we get pretty rowdy. But it's great. I love it. The only thing about when I go and watch the game and defense is up, I'm watching the linebackers. So I miss a lot, but I'm, that matter always. Even when I'm watching TV, I'm watching the linebackers. So offense is on, I'm watching the whole thing. But when defense is on, no matter what team, I'm pretty much always watching linebackers.
So there's a lot of people in here tonight that married up or dating up tonight. Tom for sure married up. James absolutely married up. I married up for sure. But Fulcher and Joe, man, they absolutely outkicked their coverage. So we love you, man. We appreciate you. Hey, if you ever been to a away tailgate, I'll never forget. I think it was Charlotte. Maybe Charlotte last year.
Yeah.
You were with us. and his wife Tiffany can dance now.
Oh, yeah.
We had DJ Trub spinning the ones and twos, and Tiffany took over the dance floor. So, but
You going to Miami this year?
are you going to Miami? We got 3 away tailgates this year. We're going to Miami. We're tailgating on pit row and Formula One garages, 20 yards from the front gate of the stadium.
We're there.
We're going to Green Bay. We got a spot that Craig and James found for us. We're going to Minnesota. We're taking the tailgate on the road for 3 games. Which one are you going to?
So we're going to Denver, we're going to Green Bay, and we're going to Miami.
Oh, good. So so you got to join us. If you look at our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we've got the links for those 3 away tailgates. And I'm telling you right now, Miami, Green Bay, and Minnesota are probably going to sell out. Craig, I know the last update we got, we're getting really close to Miami and Green Bay and Minnesota. So if you're going to any of those away games, make sure you grab those tailgate tickets. We took a huge leap of faith for especially that Miami game, the amount of money we had to pay for that location. But you guys have really stepped up, and there's a boatload of hundreds of folks have already bought tickets for that. So we're not going to lose money on that, thank God. At least we're close to not losing money. We're getting there. So we appreciate everybody being part of everything we do. This Who Dey Nation is absolutely amazing. Everything we do, home, away, social media, 10% of every fan base in the NFL is negative, all right? Everybody else, no matter how bad it gets, let's look for the positives. Let's support our team, our city, our legends. Let's just keep the positive vibes going, because I really, truly believe positive thoughts equate into positive results. And I really do think this team, hey, you remember 2021? And Tom said this more than I do. Remember 2021? We love the Reds. We love the Cincinnati Bengals. We love any team that has Cincinnati on their chest. Tom says it's the best. But there's not anything in Cincinnati that brings this city and this region together like the Cincinnati Bengals when they're winning. If you remember 2021 and watching all those videos, I got goosebumps. Remember the video they did at the end of the year, the whole compilation of all those videos and all those fans celebrating, crying, grown men. I did not cry.
I cried.
I did. But I know. But when I had 3 of my 4 boys in that Raiders game here, I got 2 of my kids here today. One's up in Columbus. One's up in out in Portland right now. But I had 3 of 4 of my boys at that Raiders game. You don't understand. A lot of you do. I went through the 90s. It was so bad, right? 30-plus years, the Bengals not win a playoff game. I got to spend that night crying, and I couldn't talk for 10 minutes after that game was over with, because I'm sitting there hugging my kids. Cameron, shut up. You were crying too. I know you were. You were crying. I wasn't crying. You were crying. But, hey, I love NFL football. I love our city. We love our team. This is what it's about, bringing people together, having fun, and celebrating this together. I'm going to talk about one more thing. At our tailgate, James, Craig, and Dale and I, we started in 2018, we started this giant map of the whole world. And you have the pin. When people come in from out of town, they put a pin in the map where they're in town from. Since 2018, and I may be off by a couple, but all 50 states have been represented. Literally hundreds of states have been represented, including Florida and countries. And 32 countries have been represented there. The biggest is unbelievable. The biggest fan group that comes down from out of the country is John and his crew. From the Toronto, Brantford area, Jamie and everybody else. We got massive fan groups in London, in England, Mexico, Spain, Germany. It is unbelievable. This is an international sport. If anybody went to the Bengals NFL game in 2016 against the Redskins, in 2019 against the Rams, if you were there, 80,000 people in those stands. They could have sold that stadium out 3 times over. And everybody had different NFL jerseys on. We went out after the games, and every pub we went to, everybody's watching NFL football, not kickball. I mean soccer. They're not watching soccer. They were literally watching NFL football games after those games. So, guys, I'll let you guys close it out here. Joe, I didn't tell you you were coming on, but we appreciate you being here.
I want to shout out to Bill and friends. Personally, my wife and I, When I retired, started a nonprofit organization called Kelly Service. Where we provide group homes, semi-independent, independent living service for kids who are ward to the state, taken out of home because of abuse and neglect. So, Bingo Jim and all you all blessed Kelly Service with a donation last year at last year's event. So I hadn't been able to personally thank him, but now I can publicly thank him and all of you guys, everybody, for the support.
Just to reiterate, we want to thank Joe, we want to thank David, we want to thank Solomon for joining us, certainly all of you. Brad's over here from Revival. We have Bengal events all weekend here. So tomorrow night, what time, Brad?
Come on up here. Come up here.
6 o'clock. Anybody that's into bourbon, he owns Revival Vintage Bourbon in Covington. Go ahead and talk about that and invite everybody.
It's not just bourbon. It's bourbon and cigars, right?
Yeah.
So hold on. Did anybody in here like bourbon? Raise your hand. Anybody like bourbon? Let's go.
Come on, there's more than that.
Okay. Talk a little bit about what you do.
So first of all, Houday. All right. So we have a vintage spirit shop in Covington called Revival. It's bourbon heavy, but we try to make it to where everybody can get in the game. And so our prices are very affordable, and we buy basically from the public. So we're kind of the American pickers of booze. I would love for you guys all to come out tomorrow. Bingo Jim and friends have been gracious enough to do a free tailgate, and I think the Bengals are actually throwing a tailgate themselves, but we'd love for you to hit them both if you can. So we have Makimoto. They do like sushi and fried rice and everything. So they're going to be setting up Delgardo's cannoli, who we're all friends with. I'm giving him a vintage spirit to make the cannoli with. So not only do you get to eat the cannoli with vintage spirit, you get to taste it as well. And we're doing a new and old history tasting with an 80s Jim Beam versus new. And then cigars are 25% off, and you get Jim's autograph.
Yeah. Worth nothing. So real quick, I just want to let you know, it's if you're into bourbon, even if you're a beginner bourbon person, he has bourbons that we were able to taste that are over 100 years old up there. I remember I tasted a 1917 E.H. Taylor. The second floor, he's got 3 floors, but the first floor is the bar. The second floor, you will see bourbons that you've never seen before. So if you like bourbons, you like cigars, come and join us tomorrow night. We'll be there. Was it from
6 to 9 o'clock? And,
it's right in Covington, right across the bridge.
Yep. We're right next to Hotel Covington, and I think bourbon's become like a boat, and unless you have a friend with one, you can't get on. So we're the cruise ship of spirits and bourbon, and every single person's welcome to come.
All right.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Tomorrow night for everybody that's in town. Be sure to stop by. Do we have any first responders in here tonight? I know some are here, some have to go. Any first responders in here tonight?
A couple of them had to leave. They had a meeting.
We're pointing to somebody towards the back of the bar. If you're a first responder, come on up. We have some merchandise over here. Again, 9/11, 24 years ago. We want to honor the men and women in both the police and fire. Thank you for your service. Come on up here and grab some things.
So real quick before we close this out tonight, if you weren't here earlier, we have those QR codes laying all across the table. Please put your phone in those QR codes, donate what you can, and tomorrow we will post to let you know how much we raised tonight, so you have a receipt that you know the money went to these guys. We appreciate you. Before we get off air, Marissa, you ready to go? Before we get off air, one more time, Sunday's going to be a hell of a time. The weather's going to be amazing. Tailgating weather in the morning's amazing. I want to thank Malik, Daniel, and Marissa tonight look, this whole setup is because of these guys over here. They worked their butts off to make this happen. We appreciate you. Before we get off there, we're going to close on this. One more Houday chant right before we get off there as loud as we can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Houday! Houday is going to beat them Bengals. Houday! Houday is going to beat them Bengals. Thank you, Holy Grail. We'll see everybody Tuesday night at 8.
It's talking football with Bengal Jim and friends. Back for more this year again. Bengal story.